Good afternoon. I think probably the best way of explaining Tough Stuff is just to spend 60 seconds and watch the video.
When the sun goes down here in rural Kenya, most people rely on expensive, toxic kerosene lamps for light. But cheap, solar-powered lights from ToughStuff International are now helping off-grid families to work and study. ToughStuff's modular range of solar-powered electricity products includes one of the cheapest solar panels on the market. Connectors to charge mobile phones or power radios can be bought separately or together as a complete kit. Customers no longer need to walk many kilometres for expensive phone charging. The products are available from urban supermarkets, small rural stores and solar entrepreneurs who delight in showing just how tough they are. Durable, affordable, low carbon and fun.
So actually, I realized that we were having some real impact when I returned to a village about 90 kilometers off the road in Madagascar, about an hour and a half out of Antananarivo, where we returned to a village that the mud brick huts had previously been completely dark at night time. And there we could see that there was lights coming. And, but I wanted to find out really what was making the difference. And I went, and it was probably the perfect answer. This lady was sitting on the floor, sorting out her produce for the next day. Her children were doing their homework, and the family were listening to the radio at the same time. And I asked her, what was it that made the most difference? She straight away said, it's helping my children study. So what is it that we did? About 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, we started Tough Stuff. We've impacted about 750,000 people's lives so far. But this is actually very small compared to the need, which is almost 1.5 billion people that live without access to electricity. We're scratching about 1% of the demand if you put together all the companies that are working in this space. And there is a growing consensus that traditional aid approaches do not always meet their targeted aims. Meanwhile, enterprise-based solutions are beginning to make a difference. And that is one of the things about us, is we're a triple bottom-line business. We're set up in a way that to lift people out of poverty, to protect the environment, and also make a healthy return for investors in our business. But if we're going to achieve the scale that we seek to, then we must be able to work with partners and collaborators. And certainly that's what we're doing already. ToughStuff's partners with public funders, private enterprises and NGOs to combine and leverage our resources. One of those contributors, of course, is Norfund, who have been investing in us recently. But I'm going to talk to you about 3 examples of how we're doing this. Partnering with NGOs to establish entrepreneur programs, increasing the availability of the products and therefore the impact they have. Working with commercial organizations to extend the benefits of mobile phones and, of course, all of the impact that that has. And thirdly, working with public donors and NGOs to build fresh approaches to humanitarian responses. So let me tell you about Tahiri. Now, Tahiri was unable to find employment, but he managed to get to his family and save a little bit of money, and he worked with us. We were working with the Darry Owens Fund, who helped start this, which is a Dutch fund, which helped us start an entrepreneurship program. He's one of our first village entrepreneurs, and he took out a loan to have 30 lamps and panels. If you look at our panels, you can see that they're very robust, flexible panels, so they work very well in countries we're working, which often have harsh, difficult environments. And a few weeks later, he came back and he wanted another 30 sets, got the money for it, and then more, and now he's got 115 sets. what he does is he rents those out to people in the village for less than the cost of kerosene. And this overwhelming demand was actually because he went to the school and the teachers, the parents were finding that the children were able to get higher grades. He's now got 2 people working for him, delivering the charged up lamps that they would then use in their homes and study with. But this is just one example of how we've used enterprise-based approaches. We think about giving people a hand up, not a handout. We've worked with partners in a number of ways with different organizations to help this happen. In Madagascar, there was the Diones Fund. And then in Kenya, we're partnering with Christian Aid, where we've got a program of over 260 entrepreneur programs there, where Christian Aid provide the working capital to start up a number of community groups. And this lady here, Georgia, she has a number of children in her family. She has no real income, but she's working on one of their HIV programs. She now sells the lamps and the panels, which brings an immediate impact, but she then earns an income. But we're also developing other initiatives, such as with CARE and village saving associations, helping to make these products more affordable. So people have, for example, rent-to-buy systems. So this way, the end consumer ultimately gets the benefit because they put a little bit of money aside each week. And often they're able to do that because, of course, they're saving money. People spend about $50 a year on kerosene and candles. Our lamp and panel cost less than $17. People then pay another $1 to get a mobile phone charging connector, and they're immediately able to save money on the $30 or so that they might have used to charge up their mobile phones. And of course, this is exactly the point. We've heard of some really fabulous initiatives and ideas this morning. I'm sure we'll hear more. But not one of those mobile phones can operate without it being charged up. And there's 500 million mobile phones that are in off-grid areas. So if you want to have a program, we're doing these kind of programs where people will send out an SMS message to check whether somebody's taking their ARVs for their medication, and they will send a health worker out if they don't get a response. And then the health worker gets there, and it's not the fact that the person hasn't taken ARVs, it's because they couldn't charge up their phone. So actually, we've got to think, people talk about ecosystems. Actually, you've got to think about how do people get energy to charge up their mobile phones? Just thinking about this wider thing. Now, we can provide solar panels and mobile phone connectors for less than $10, easily. And so we're often looking for the kind of organizations that we can work with to spread the impact of our work. But one of the other things that we're able to do is, we've given you an example, we've worked with Medic Mobile and Grameen Foundation to ensure their mobile health programs run effectively on exactly this kind of thing. And of course, Samchi Telecom, another example of a commercial organization where we're one of Kenya's largest mobile phone dealers, and they're stocking our produce and selling our products. And Orange have started bundling our mobile phone connectors and the solar panels as part of their basic market entry product. But also humanitarian crises. Humanitarian crises destroy lives, communities, and livelihoods. And these are heightened by disruption to power supplies, which often leave people lost, they're disconnected from their families, they're unable to track them down, they're unable to listen to the radio because they don't have anything to charge up to play the radio with, they don't hear the information, and they can become completely destabilized. So we're able to provide, through some of our very simple products, a means of people to play the radio directly from the solar panels, and then to be connected back within their communities. And we've delivered over 50,000 emergency kits into Haiti and to Pakistan, working with public donors such as UK Aid and NGOs such as Concern Worldwide, HelpAge International, and World Vision. But let me tell you about Elimine Dujurst, who received a ToughStuff solar lamp kit from Concern Worldwide last February. She lives with her 4 children and 7 grandchildren and lost everything in the earthquake. She told ToughStuff how having the solar kit transformed her life. She said, "My daughter, who is still at school, can study. We can cook in the evening and prepare food for the next day. It feels that we have a future for me and my family." And also, one of the other things it's done is, she said that we now feel that much more secure. Gender-based violence, often rife in camps and after earthquakes and disasters. Simple lighting makes a massive difference there. So ToughStuff is partnering with public funders and NGOs to challenge, present approaches to emergency relief and encouraging innovation in the field. Just this year, we've enabled HelpAge International to deliver mobile cash transfers to older people affected by the Haiti earthquake. Beneficiaries receive a mobile handset which allowed them to receive cash of $17 per month, as well as connect with their loved ones and with information. By including a ToughStuff panel and a range of mobile phone connectors, HelpAge ensured that the recipients no longer needed to spend $3 of that income on charging up their mobile phone. And actually, many of them have now started small businesses where they're charging other people's phones up for a very small income too. So they're able to generate enterprise. So I've told you about 3 ways that ToughStuff works together with other organizations, partnering with them. And we're keen to develop new partnerships, but it's not always easy. There is a skepticism from NGOs working with social enterprises. And often there is insufficient investment. Often it's either too expensive or too late. And sometimes commercial interests of large organizations are just not aligned with the social impact and the environmental impact we aim to achieve. Yet social businesses do have a sustainable future. For example, we're able to save people about $100 a year, each family. Now, we're already doing that, even though we've only just started with 200,000 families. That's like giving $20 million in aid every year. We're not adding any extra. And very soon, that's going to be 10 times higher, $200 million in aid. Now, it starts becoming significant. People spending their money on food, clothing, education. So we're looking at new intersections, and one of the things that I hope will happen is that the kind of work that we do will generate some new ideas. What about solar-powered teachers? Okay, now, when you actually use the income that comes from solar lighting to pay for the teacher who might otherwise have to go and work in the fields in the afternoon, suddenly you're enabling the teacher to do something else. One of the things I heard recently from Gitao, one of my team over in Kenya, is how we may actually be having a peacekeeping impact. There's rustlers stealing cows, tribe to tribe. A lot of killing goes on at those occasions, and there's something called the anti-stalk theft group that basically shoot to kill the rustlers. We're now providing our solar panels, flexible solar panels, around the cattle's neck, charging up their GPS tracking systems, and that's really reducing the incidence of cattle theft. I look forward to seeing many different possibilities and intersections, and would love to chat with you. Jonathan, my colleague, is also here. I'm sure he too would love to chat. Thank you.